Hi, everybody. My name is Ryan Saracool, and I'm the host of IMX, the podcast. And this is the first and pilot episode of the IMX podcast. In this first and pilot episode, I feature my good friend, Christopher Perry, who's also a part of the IMX production team, along with co-founding his own company, Classic City Films. This episode was filmed in November 2024 when I first opened my studio. So actually, I consulted Chris before I opened my studio, and I told him that I wanted to start a podcast. And if I did, he would be the first episode and the first guest. So Christopher is by far one of the most talented cinematic creatives I've ever met. And he's patient, he's kind, he's sweet and supportive. And if you guys like this episode, go give Chris a follow and please like, subscribe, comment, all that stuff. I don't really know. It's my first episode, but if that's what you guys do on YouTube or Spotify or whatever, please feel free to do so. Enjoy. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the very first episode of I Am Exclusive, the podcast. Today I have a very, very special guest with me. He owns his own media production company known as Classic City Films, one of the greatest creatives I've seen. We've also had the honor to work with each other multiple times. I want to welcome today Mr. Christopher Ian Perry.
Oh, middle name included. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me in this spectacular studio space, my brother.
Thank you. Yes. So, the first question I always want to ask the guests is, who is Christopher Ian Perry?
Oh, man. I'm just your average Joe, man. I'm a man who just likes to exist and take photos and spend time with friends and family. Likes to go for runs and
you see he's ripped. Of course he likes to go on runs. He's ripped.
But on the creative side, I'm a photographer, videographer. I like to take portraits of people, get click that button and have a good time.
Yes, sir. You gotta just press record and click the shutter. That's the simple rule. You gotta get out there and shoot, right?
Yeah. But yeah, that's dude.
That's beautiful.
I'm trying to get used to this. Okay.
Yeah. And the good
let me get a little loosey goosey.
We'll get loosey goosey. The beautiful thing is that Chris and I are great friends and somebody I respect a lot. So let's start off with a quick story time of how I met Chris. Actually, I've heard about you through the grapevine before we met, and actually I wasn't even like that deep in the creative realm yet. I was just shooting for fun at the time, and then I had got my first camera. That's when I started like getting a little serious, right? And everybody was talking about you already. In a lot. I spent a lot of time in the Fairfield area, Vacaville, Fairfield, Sacramento. That was kind of where I first took a lot of dancer shots, and your name was everywhere, bro. Like, oh, Chris Perry is the GOAT. I was like, who is this Chris guy, man? Right? And then one day, Alton called you, and you came to my house. You remember? That was the day I met you.
Oh, shoot. I honestly forgot about that.
And it's funny because that day to me was like monumental.
Yeah.
Because you were teaching me about S-Log. You were teaching me about how to expose stuff. And then we had that really good talk about kind of the hump of being a creative, not like a literal hump, you sick bastards. That's just all me. But kind of like the journey of being a creative, And that was like, oh my God, 7 years ago, 8 years ago?
I don't remember the reason why I went, but I remember that interaction and how I left. Like, I was like, damn, Ryan, because I've heard of you too, and this whole chitter chatter of Chris Perry, I don't think that was a thing. I feel like we've had mutual friends that, a handful of mutual friends that may have just been like, oh, Chris films too, and vice versa with you. Your name popped up like, Ryan, he's just starting, blah 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 blah. So it was cool to after hearing about you to finally meet you and connect. And then on top of you just being a good person, it was just like the energy that you brought always resonated with me. And then it felt like brother from the get.
Yeah.
Like we didn't even talk like that, but it just felt very like, oh, this isn't just a dude who just talking. He's about it clearly, bro. Like legit. Like, come on, bro. If you like legit, and that's why it's like it's really cool to from just talking to exposure, and now you have a dope ass studio. I can't.
Right?
No.
That's
That's why you have zebras.
No, that's fact.
But to see your growth, dude, it's like it's truly really really cool, and to see what you do for the community, like I said, us having mutual dance friends, and to see you just give your flowers to the dancing and kind of documenting dance how it should be is really cool.
Thank you, bro. That's
because I gave up on the dancing.
And the thing is, bro, like I feel that because it's not the most financially backed place, especially here in the USA, which is a little disappointing because it's where dance comes from. This is our culture that's being funded everywhere else in the world. In France, you get paid to dance. In Korea, you get funded to dance. In Japan, there's a huge dance culture. And these are just naming a few countries. But here, it's like we get no love from like sponsorships or government or anything like that. So it really puts dancers in a weird position. Like it's really a passion thing. You really got to love it. And it's a very different raw energy and movement and then culture that comes out of that. So I definitely agree that the dance aspect of my life in terms of being a creative is purely for community love and passion, because like I always say this, I would be nothing without dance because that's where my perspective comes from, the way I talk, the way I move and all those things. But I really appreciate you shouting that out because our community definitely needs that love. That love with filming and picture and just like that support, that energy. We need that energy.
Well, yeah, and it goes hand in hand too, because you being a dancer, how it should be captured, and the stuff that needs to be highlighted. You get an average Joe who knows nothing and just have them shoot. It's like they can shoot, but is there feeling to it? Is there that are people going to be willing to show their authentic self outside of performing? Like if you're just trying to take a portrait of a dancer, can they pull that by conversating with them? Right. If you got nothing to talk about, it's just like an awkward photography session,
awkward photography.
Yeah, but if you're able to like really, I think outside of dancers, just being able to communicate with anyone, it's like you want to show that relatability. Like even if you don't really relate to them, you can be on that same level field and try to now I feel like I'm on a fucking tangent. I guess where I'm going with this is just empathy.
No, for sure. And that's like a big part of our job in general, right?
Right.
Is to have like a big enough understanding of all the different types of environments, people, emotions, and then being able to bring that out of people. And that's why I think there's a lot of different types of photographers, and understanding what type of photographer or videographer you are is very important. And that comes with an understanding of self, right? Because you're able to make the subject feel comfortable. And like, you're not going to be able to do that with every single human being on the planet, but that's kind of the journey, the growth, is to like expand yourself as you expand understanding humans and lifestyles and things around you in order to be able to capture and be able to bring that out, or be able to just see it and capturing that moment, And I think that's a lot of what you said that you do as well. So I want to bring it back to you for a second and get to know a little bit of how you became a creative. Like, what was your first introductions to cameras? How did you know you like it?
Yeah. Oh man, it's so funny. Planet of the Apes.
Actually?
Yeah. Film? To the Mark Wahlberg one. I brought that up. You know what? It's so funny. I brought that up a couple of days ago to someone. I forgot. And I just remember saying, yeah, Planet of the Apes was, I remember watching, like the DVDs. You have like the full length feature film, and then the second disc is like a bonus special features. I remember watching it and watching behind the scenes and really being captivated on just the storytelling of the process of making a movie. And I actually enjoyed that more than the movie.
Interesting.
So that's why I was like, I kind of like the behind the scenes more than the actual product. Like I enjoy the product as well, but to get there, I highly enjoy. And I knew that's something I always wanted to be a part of. And then, being a dance garage kid back in the day, being around creative people was where I felt like I could use that as a stepping stone to see what I can do with the camera. And like you said, there's no money involved with like the dancers, at least nothing crazy.
Not like,
but you have people that are down for you. Like my people, like the people that I was with, they always, if I had an idea, they were like, let's try it. Yeah. Even if it had nothing to do with dance, it was like, if I had a short film, they were like, yeah, let's do it. Like, just pick me up if you can, and I'll be down. So it was really some apes that got me started. It is really weird, and I still have that DVD. Like, and I have it like just in my bedroom as a reminder of like something as simple as Mark Wahlberg. Because he was like the star of that movie.
That's crazy that Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
And that's a really interesting combination that it was Planet of the Apes and Mark Wahlberg, like the Mark Wahlberg version, because a lot of people I know were inspired by the early Planet of the Apes.
Oh yeah,
people in the costume, and that's like a level of old school film artistic with like the prosthetics, like the setting, like the ability to be actors to convince people that you're like off Planet Apes is insane, right? And I know the Mark Wahlberg one was a later one. That's in the 2000s, right?
Yeah, and it's such a random ass movie, dude. Like, the ending makes no sense, but like I said, it's something about the special features was just like really, really cool.
You feel like you're more captivated by the process, like the emotion of like being on production and capturing.
Yeah, and then also too, like kind of what we were talking off mic. It's those like in between moments that I love. I love like. Because it feels real. Like, if like I just love it's very hard to explain.
No, it makes sense.
But in here it makes all the sense.
No, it makes sense that like, you're a wedding videographer, right? First of all. And for those who are watching that don't know this, Chris is owner of Classic City Films that produces very beautiful film-like cinematic wedding videos. It's incredible. And those are all moment-based.
Yeah.
Entire wedding is a one-time, one-thing moment of your life kind of event. And from what it sounds like, you're into capturing like the genuine, authentic emotion within that candid, like a candid type shot.
Yeah. I think from both a video and photo photography standpoint, I am a huge fan of the candids, as I think many photographers and videographers are. They love like the candid moments, and I know some people lean more towards like staging, and I do that too. Like I also enjoy doing it, but my default is for sure just like for a wedding, like you need to enjoy your day. 100%. Don't worry about any of the other bullshit. Like, let's just make sure that you guys get to experience this as a unit, and then we will be that fly on the wall, but also like guide you if need be. If you need us, we'll help you. But for the most part, it's just like enjoy your day. You paid all this money, so might as well be able to have fun.
Yeah, for sure. And then in the sense of capturing weddings, how did you kind of fall into that line?
So my business partner, whose also name is Chris, he's a fantastic photographer, videographer as well. Did I just like say, does as well mean that I'm a good, I don't mean it like a douchey way.
You are, bro. You gotta glaze your face a little bit.
No, but he's really good too. But he shot a wedding in Oregon, and then at the time, we were trying to do like YouTube, like, be like, what's those Asian guys? Just Kidding Films, Wong Fu, because we're like, for me personally, you didn't see, to see some Asian cats do this and be successful. You're like, oh shit, I see myself like I could do that too. Right. So I think that's where I was like, hey, like, and I know like the group we were with were like very funny. Like, I see a lot of potential. But my buddy, he shot a wedding in Oregon. When he came back, he was like, bro, like, it was so cool. He's like, we should really like consider doing this, like, and we can get paid good. Yeah. And it's funny, there's a video out there. The day that we kind of were like, yo, maybe we should put this like funny shit that we're trying to do to the side and try to do something more productive. Not to say the funny stuff wasn't productive, but you know, we're just, you know, about to graduate high school. So I was like, let's figure out ways to make money.
Right.
So we were like, let's start a business and focus on weddings. So I did, I think the first 2 to 3 weddings, I was kind of like, like, you know, there's those jitters in the beginning. Everyone's kind of like, I don't want to ruin, you know, I don't want to miss a shot. I don't want to ruin people's day.
100%.
But then now I'm like 150 plus weddings in, and you're like, oh, that's the least of my concern. Now my concern is just making sure my clients are having a good day.
Right.
100%. Like, so it's really cool to have that hindsight perspective now of like, oh, I love to do weddings. Now I can talk to people who are getting into weddings who have that same stress. You're gonna feel it.
Yeah.
And it's good to have, because it makes sure you're on top of your shit.
100%.
Especially in the beginning. If you were too chill in the beginning, I'd be like, add a little pressure to yourself.
For sure. You can't miss those moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then now it's just like, I look forward to it. I love it. Like, I really enjoy, especially our style.
Yeah.
Like, just very documentary, applying literally like stuff from Planet of the Apes to like wedding. It's kind of weird, but in a cool way. It's really cool.
No, that's really amazing. So you said you guys started this when you were about to graduate high school?
I think we already graduated. Yeah, because we met. Me and my business partner met in, like, we've known each other since 3rd grade.
Wow.
And then he was like the skater kid. I was the dancing kid, and we were just like, we were cool in elementary school, and then middle school. That's, you know, that riff of like, especially early 2000s. Like, I wanted to be like the dancer. He was like making fun videos with his other friends. Then high school, even more like separated. But we did do like a little like group project that involved video, which is ironic, but that was that. And then community college, we took a class together unintentionally. I just saw him in class. I was like, oh, what's up, dude? How you doing? And then next semester we took a photography class, and we were like, maybe we should just kick it.
Yeah.
And he's like my brother. Like, and it's crazy, that synchronicity of just like nothing forced, like everything just lined up. Our humor, everything was just smooth. And now we just, you know, we're old men now, just doing what we love, and it's cool getting grays together and basically married. So
wow. No, and that's what they say. When you start a business with somebody, you're basically like marrying them.
Well, that was the thing too. A lot of people were like, don't get in business with your best friend. And I was like, why wouldn't you want to? Like, money, like I would never let money like get in between, you know, it's IEUE kind of scenario.
Right. Yeah. And it's a lot of transparency in that business aspect with your best friend.
And yeah, we've had those talks, and like we've had talks where we both kind of just keep each other accountable.
Yeah, for sure.
And we want the best for each other. Sometimes those talks are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think the uncomfortable talks are where the growth happens the most.
Right.
Because you're actually being challenged to think in a different aspect, different perspective, right? You're actually able to bring the harder things to speak up on the table, and then actually discussing it in a way where it's going to move things forward.
And you know, it's crazy. The talks that we have weren't even necessarily business talks.
That's the self-development.
Yeah,
aspect,
it was like moments where like, hey, I don't like how you talk to me in front of that, and then it's just like, oh shit, my bad, or I didn't notice that, like, which is good. Like, I feel like I want to be, if I were ever to like talk a certain way, I just would want to make sure that I was put in check.
You want to make sure, like, you don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable.
Yeah,
basically, and you want to make sure people feel respected as well. Right?
Yeah,
which is really important, because those are the hardest conversations to have, but that's how you know who the real ones are in your life.
Yeah, for sure. Like, other Chris and like It's weird saying Chris, but yeah, he a real one. He's a good one.
And that's funny because we go back to saying like how it's like being married, because that's the same thing you'd have to always talk to your partner about. Be like, hey, this, I wasn't really happy about this, or this was great. Really, really relationship based.
Yeah.
But moving on to you yourself as an artist, right? Something I like to ask a lot of people, obviously the journey of being a business and a creative is different. Right? Yeah. Do you feel like there has been a breakthrough that you've made within yourself as an artist and as a business? And if you did, when would you say you had a certain breakthrough for yourself that you knew, that you were aware of?
That's where, like, going back to like Chris, like, I feel like I know the basics, like I get around. Chris is like, with classic, he's the like analytical brain. I'm like the artsy brain. So he shines on the business side. Like, he fucking comes in clutch all the time, and I'm always like, thank you, but like, you know what I mean? Like, it is like, he's good on that. I feel like I still I'm always learning. Like, I'm always trying to figure it out. I don't think there's ever gonna be a moment where I'm like, when taxes come, I have my formula now. That's pretty much it. Like, I know what I need to get situated with that. But there's other elements on the back end side, whether it's like the website or SEO or whatever the case. Like, Chris is always like, dude, I know how to do this. I'm like, and to me, it's like surrendering to that. Like, I think it's that good balance of, if they know this and they like want to do it, like, I'm always gonna root. And I know Chris thinks vice versa, because I don't like, with stuff like this, like meeting other people and doing podcasts and stuff, it's both out of our comfort.
Oh, interesting.
So I feel like for me, I'm more of like the marketer, I suppose.
Oh, the face.
Like, going, not even the face, because both of us like to, like, we'll fuck around and show face and like joke around on our platforms or whatever you want to call it. But I'm definitely the type, like, I'll like, I love meeting up with people and just talking shop and figuring out shit. Yeah.
So for this one, in terms of like the business part, you guys have a synergy going where, like you said, right, it's like left brain, right brain kind of thing.
Yeah, I think, yeah. And I think it's genuinely like that. Like,
that's serious.
Yeah.
That's real, because being a creative, and like if you're by yourself, at least, it's very difficult for most artists to jump into business where they don't really actually understand like what it takes to make a living with what you do, and the sacrifices and the things that you have to learn, whether it's like the self-development aspect, the learning business language, understanding how to do business. Like, I get a lot of questions all the time with people like, how are you getting all these clients and stuff like that? I'm just like, well, if you forever view yourself as this, I'm just a photographer, I'm just a videographer, and I'm a freelancer kind of mindset, you're really boxing yourself into this like realm of, I'm just that. And like, you can excel in that, obviously, to a degree, but the people that are doing the best or doing like great or better or whatever, right? They obviously have a different mindset. They have a different growth aspect to them, and they can see things in a bigger scale, whether they're in a better position like producer or director, assistant director, what it is that they're doing and providing, what problems they're solving for people. That's very different. It might not be all a one-stop shop, right? And I think a lot of people, photographers and videographers, think they have to be the retoucher, they got to be the lighting person, they got to be their own set assistant, they got to be the shooter. But like, reality, that's why there's like a team. There's a hair, makeup, lighting, set, like someone who puts together the sets and things like that. Or whether if you're on set for film, there's a director, a producer, a runner. There's all types of different people. Then you're not a one-stop shop. And then you think you have to do everything, and then you end up burning out. So.
I was gonna say, like, there's so many people, which I'm sure you've encountered as well, where they are trying to do it alone, and I'm like, how? Like, it's for sure possible. But just like the mental aspect too, of like not having someone to like bounce ideas. Because me and Chris, we used to edit in the same room, which was super effective. Especially literally too, is like, hey bro, I need a break from this project. Are you able to like come over and switch seats and just edit?
Yeah.
But now we kind of do it from a distance where we FaceTime, and you know, it's not the same. Like,
Right. Right.
especially like motivational wise, you need like you want that person that you can like turn to, just vent or ask questions. It's really wild.
So what I do want to get into more is kind of like how we naturally talk, like conversation
I know
about things.
This is honestly my favorite.
Yeah.
I sometimes I feel like I feel like with certain friends I come off like the wooey friend.
What do you mean?
Or like I'm always like, let's get deep, bro. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Like let's like
Nah, bro, we
like let's talk. Like I want to like figure out how we better our soul and stuff. Like,
yeah, for sure.
because I know at the end of the day, that's, I mean, that layer that is like, that's our core.
Right.
Our soul is like our core.
Right.
And if we're not taking time to nourish that,
100%.
it's like, I think, I don't know if it's age or whatnot, but I'm really, I feel like it's super important to really talk about how you feel.
No, 100%. No, because like, and that's another thing that, you know, I've been exploring a lot more as a creative, a business owner, and just as like a human being in general, right? Because you have your own life, right? And you have the creative side, I think, is the fulfillment of what you want in your life. And then the business aspect is what's gonna like, you know, fund you for your longevity, for your children, your parents, your own well-being, your medical bills, your, you know, future funds for your children, whatever that may be, you know. And it feels like a lot to think about now because we're young, right? We're like in our 30s, right? But like, what would life be like without a foundation for our 40s? And that's kind of the conversations I've been having with myself in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And to be a creative and to pursue the entrepreneurship of being a creative is something that has been on my mind in terms of, you know, developing a perspective that's healthy and positive that can give you fortitude mentally to continue going and to find like the right answers to build your legacy on. And like, this shit is hard, you know, it makes you want to give up. It beats you down. It's not something that, it's definitely not for everybody, you know, it's definitely not for everybody. And I think that's why I've been exploring the mental, physical, and spiritual, let's say, aspect of it. Because there's the mental aspect is taking care of yourself and your health and like making sure you're in check, whether it is if you have to visit therapy or read books or watch podcasts, talk to your friends, do things that are good for you. You're, you know, like go outside and breathe air, or go for a jog. Or like I said, I told you I went to my hometown, like where I grew up, and I just walked around the plaza when I was a kid. Shout out El Cerrito Plaza.
There you go. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And then the physical aspect is like, I used to be so like, I gotta fast and I gotta make sure I lift today and hit all my deadlifts and eat my fucking body weight of protein bullshit like a day, you know, my greens. And like, it's not, and I think a part of that was because I was insecure with like how I felt physically or looked physically. So I had to like aesthetically be like fit or whatever. But now I'm just like, you know, but
Yeah.
I
Wait, hold on. No, that yeah wasn't like yeah. That yeah was more
Like,
of like,
yeah.
I hear you, bro. I swear on everything. No,
but
that yeah was like, I hear you. I hear you.
but like more in terms of feeling good,
Yeah.
making sure that like there's a point where I was like working so much that I would walk up a flight of stairs and I'd be like, you know, but just being able to like, I shouldn't be that tired at 30 something doing basic shit. So then the rewiring of the mind goes to like, you should just be healthy, you know, like don't force yourself to like not eat any carbs, man, or like never have sugar ever again. It's like, okay, you could have a little bit of sugar once a week or whatever. You could eat carbs. Carbs aren't bad if you actually just use it, you know. It's like, don't eat fried stuff too much. It's like once a week, like once every other week is fine. Like that's kind of like, and just going to the gym and doing a basic cardio, or, you know, still doing the deadlift, still doing the squat, still doing the bench, but I'm not out here trying to like do the crazy, like, I'm going to do 500 pounds type shit anymore. You know, just do a bunch of reps lightly, make sure your body functions. And then the spiritual aspect is like the idea of feeding your soul, like you said, where you're doing things that creatively fulfill you. You're taking the breaks that are necessary to fulfill you, whether that's like a vacation with your partner or spending time with your family or spending time by yourself, doing things, having your own space, and like just to refresh everything, to meditate, or, you know, have some kind of time to revisit your beliefs and your values and just sit with them and like do things for yourself, you know. So these are the three things that I've been bouncing around a lot when you talk about like nourishing your soul, because those things matter. Your body matters, your mental health matters, and the quote unquote spiritual side of things very much so matter, because that's what is the operational side of your core beliefs, you know. And to be able to like grow that and expand that is very important for your well-being.
Well, going back to with being like, for instance, like being super restrictive with like diet, like how you said earlier, like if and when you do a strict diet and you fall off that horse and you're that strict, that coming back or trying to come back on that, how do I say it? Like, my mind's blanking right now. But trying to get back on the horse and go back onto that diet, it creates that, you said it earlier in the best way off podcast, but
it's almost like you're the off trackness.
Yeah,
off track, and that like you're kind of creating your own like pressure cycle.
Yeah.
Right? And then you're kind of like creating a self-judgment cycle.
Yeah. And if you don't leave room for like flaws are gonna happen, if you don't have that, then it makes it challenging. So if you go into it like you're saying, like you can have sugar here and there, you know, you can have a lazy day here and there. It's like when you do have those days, you don't beat yourself up as much because you're allowing yourself to recover. And that's something that I really struggle with. And I struggle with, like, I'll tell myself that, like, I can say that.
Yeah.
I could tell my friend, dude, it's okay to have a lazy day. But if I have a lazy day, I'm fucking up. It's not, and that's self-aware. I'm glad at least I have that self-awareness. But it's, I don't know what it is. It's very hard for me to get out of that cycle. I think this year I've been really trying to focus on, it's okay. Relax. Everything will be okay if you have that cookie. Or
100%.
Or if you don't feel like editing today, or, you know, it's okay to have those moments, because I know internally my root, my soul knows my intentions.
Wow. I love that, bro.
Sure. Girl, let me tell you.
No, that's super real, because a couple things to like go off of that is I visited therapy recently, and as I was talking, the therapist goes, "Oh, this seems like there's a lot of self-judgment going on." And I was like, "Oh, right." And that can be viewed as two different things. It could be viewed as like, I have a standard, and it could also be viewed as like, I'm actually holding myself back from a lot of things by like creating all these narratives around certain habits that I have, right? So one thing I've had recently is when I grew up, as I mentioned, like I'm the younger son, and I get a lot of pressure from my family to like go be something, you know, like big, go to school, go make lots of money, whatever, right? And that's something that happened to me a lot when I was a kid. So I ended up like trying to prove to my parents that I could go the creative route and make just as much money as someone that's like working at Apple, let's say, right? That was like kind of my goal when I was younger. And that creates a lot of pressure in yourself. So then I wanted to pursue that goal of being like, I can make 6 figures on my own doing whatever, blah, 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 right? But I never had the work ethic to do it. So I would always have my own ceiling of like not being able to actually do it because I'm too lazy to actually go pursue it. And then once I knew what it took to do it and I started pursuing it, I had to change who I was, change my mindset to like, I gotta be on the clock 24/7. You have to eat, breathe, and live business, whatever that meant. And it was really hard in the beginning. And then once I started to do it, there's all these like people out there like Gary Vee, Alex Hormozy, and they're always just like Gary Vee is very aggressive. It's like, you got to be doing this shit all the time, 24/7, blah, 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 put out content. And like that culture today is blasting into our brain and making us feel like we're not enough. It makes us feel like we're not doing enough. It makes us feel like we're not good enough. We need to be doing bigger things. Like, so I bought into that culture, right? Of like, I need to be doing 100 cold calls a day, 100, which I've never done, by the way. Like, that's freaking insane. Like, you're doing 100 cold calls for photography. Like, I haven't done that.
Yeah.
I've done a handful of cold calls, and the sense of like getting into that even, it's like the fear of facing rejection, the fear of thinking you're not good enough. You get imposter syndrome because you want to build a business, but you don't know where your talents need to be because you're like an artist, blah, blah, right? Going back to that, I went into that mode, obviously to work for what I have. And I ended up becoming somebody that could not stop thinking about work. And that damaged my health. Obviously, I gained a lot of weight. I stopped working out. I spent less time with my partner. I saw my parents a lot less. My face definitely aged a few years in a short time, and then your brain never freaking stops. That's the problem, right? So that's the culture of buying into this, like, I want to make it. Everyone's doing shit so much so fast these days. And it makes you feel like you're never doing enough, so now going back to what we were talking about, I'm also revisiting the mind, body, and spirit thing because that's the culture we bought into, and that's the time that we live in, where everything's moving so fast, and there's so much like money out there where we don't even know where it comes from. And a lot of the culture that I suffer from personally is Asian American parents coming here for a better opportunity, and then I end up being a fucking photographer. Like, that's probably not what they dreamed of, but that's why the pressure being like, I can make as much money as these guys doing what I love if I find the way. Mm-hmm. And the pressure of finding the way comes. And now that I'm like kind of doing it, like, you feel like it's not enough still. You still want to grow. You still want to be like, how do I make multiple six figures? Can I even make 7 figures doing media? Mm-hmm. And the answer to me is yes, but how? And what do I have to give up to do that? Or how can I do that? And that never shuts off. So I'm practicing how to just be like, bro, like, stop that. Like, revisit your purpose, revisit your foundation, revisit what you really want. Like, do you even really want that? What would your life even look like if you did that? Like, what do you want? Mm-hmm. And how do you want to go about that in a healthy way where it's not about your parents, it's not about your traumas, it's not about the social pressure. Mm-hmm. It's about you and what you want. And like, what I want is a good ass comfortable life, doing what I love, helping people, working with people, doing cool shit. And the question is, how do I make that a reality without having to sacrifice my health and my time to a degree where your brain never shuts off, So I, as you said, I'm revisiting that aspect of fulfillment as well.
No, I think that's really good. And going back to like the cold call situation with like photography and videography, it is like, I'm gonna call you to ask if you need photos done. Like, yeah, you can do that. But for me, I think how I, because I totally get, like, I don't think I can ever shut off my working brain. I can only like manage and deal with it. Like, and then I want to be like woosah, but it's just not how my brain works. But my way of counteracting that cold call is kind of like how we discussed earlier, where it's just like, I'm all right. I'm not gonna call these businesses or whatever. Y'all do whatever you guys want to do, but I'm gonna do my like spec ad or like a personal product. I'm gonna show you what I can do.
Yeah.
And then it is what it is. Because then out of that, I'm not wasting my time. Not to say if you're doing cold calls, you're wasting my time. But in my head, it's like, I'm being creative. I'm feeding my soul, and something can come out of it.
Right.
Because I'm showing you my capabilities rather than be like, hey, do you need this?
Yeah.
Because I know in my heart of hearts, I know that I'm capable.
Right.
I know if I go to Old Navy. No, I mean, shout out to Old Navy. But when I go to like Old Navy or Gap or, any store, I look at I'll look at any photos and I really examine and I'm like, dude, easy. Obviously the business side. And that's when the cold calls come in clutch.
Right.
But if I'm a cold calling people, I have nothing to show, then that's when I'm shooting myself in the foot.
100%.
So it's like, and going back to like kind of relating to your parent scenario, like for me, my dad has been a saint in all of, like, he's been super supportive. And I remember when I told him like I was gonna drop out of school and pursue like my business with Classic, he was like, I texted him that, and then he was like, "What took you so long?"
Wow.
And I'll remember that day forever. And now, like, he's retired now, living his best life, but he's diving into like NDEs, like he's very intrigued with like near death experiences. And I've kind of done research and listen to like podcasts about it, and it really, I think hearing about it made me like go back to my purpose of life and like spark my journey on my soul. Because it's like at the end of the day, none of this really matters. And I know that's the cliche saying, but it really doesn't. Like, and even, I don't know if you saw Mike Tyson when he talked about legacy.
Yeah. Right.
Did you see that video where he's like legacy is ego?
Right.
And I never thought of it like that. And what he says is kind of, it makes sense. Yeah. It's like, it's just, I don't care for, you know, all this like whoop-la, like people talking to me about me 100 years from now. And how I interpret it is like, what am I doing now to be impactful right now with you in this moment? Because this is all we have, is this literally this moment. And then when I go out and I'm driving on the freeway, car, you know, fucking cuts me off, what am I going to do right there in that moment to make, I can fucking flip you off, or I could just be like, yo, that person is in a rush, whatever, fuck it, move on with my day. Why make things worse when it doesn't need to be? What am I doing in the microscopic, you know, ways of living? Because going back to that, like the NDE stuff, the near death experiences, like there's this thing where they talk about life review, and like the littlest thing, the littlest interaction you have with an individual is played in your life review, you know. So that really resonated with me. And that's something that now I try to move forward with. Even with like, I go on daily walks with my friend, Justin, shout out Justin, crazy good photographer. And we both bring our cameras and we go shoot, like do street photography, because that's something that I've been really diving into. And I think that's been feeding my soul, because I'm not just I'll stop and like talk to people and not even like take photos, like just really like, let me connect with this person back again with like this moment. And, you know, it feeds me, and I hope that me just taking a moment with them can help feed them too, to let them know that, hey, I hope your day is good, you know, like, even if it's literally just saying that.
That's super real. Because even like, for example, I've given this a lot of thought. You know, the funny thing is I haven't really been going outside as much. That's kind of weird to say. I'm here a lot, and if I'm not here,
you're working.
I'm here, like I basically live here, right?
Yeah.
Or I'm with my girlfriend, or, you know, I go home and spend time with my family or my dog and stuff like that. Even friends, I have less time to be with them, but that's why you can feel the quality and how much that's needed. Because as humans, we yearn for connection. We're supposed to be a tribe. We're supposed to be a community. We're a species that are supposed to share, you know? And going back to what you were saying, there is a sense of character development that very specific types of people do, because you can't give what you don't have. And the sense of time you spend with yourself and the people around you, when you build up that quality, one thing I've noticed, since I don't go outside as much, when I do go out to buy coffee, for example, and the way you make eye contact with the person that's ringing you up, the way you order, the tone, the body movement, people are able to tell that you're a little different, you know, because there's a genuine sense of being present and sharing just even that sliver of a moment with somebody, of saying, hi, how are you doing? And you're actually like low-key curious. Like, I'm not asking someone, how are you doing? One is mannerism, but two, you could tell who's running a script and like they're not fully present by saying like, it's good, you know, or just being like, oh, you know, my day is going well so far, you know, and you could tell that there's a sense of groundedness in how they're responding, and that can give you an opportunity to just give them a moment of relief and saying, oh, busy day, huh? Well, you're killing it out here. You know, thank you for the coffee, you know, have a nice day. There's an eye contact, body language, sense of emotion and presence that makes even the smallest interaction and a connection. And people remember those things. And that's how you subconsciously, you don't know, but that's how you remember people.
Right.
If you walk into a grocery store, you saw one person one time, there might have been a small eye contact interaction saying, sorry, excuse me. But you run into them again 3 months later, you're like, wait a second, I know you, I've seen you before. It's because just a millisecond, you sparked a genuine energetic connection. And those are the types of people that we're drawn to and like we're magnetically connected to them. And that's why it's really important to, like you said, always kind of be who you are.
Yeah.
Who you are is who you developed yourself to be. And like, we're not always going to be that same person, like, you know, with mom, dad, partner. We're much closer to them, so they see a broader spectrum of how that person's developed. But more so, we want to always maintain the person we are through the growth that we've had in our life. And most of the time, unfortunately, people who are like that go through a lot of stuff behind doors. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing too, is like you don't want to put out like that positive toxicity. You're like, hey,
that bullshit.
What's up, everyone? How is everyone happy? Let's be happy. It's not even like that. It's more, it's like, it's being able to like, oh fuck, I see like you having a shitty day, kind of, and like just be like knowing that and kind of reading the room or reading the energy and being like, you know, like I hope you like just kind of leaving that note of like, I hope you have a better day, and that's it. Not being like, energy. Why are you sad? The sun's out. Like, no, like just being really like, oh no, I feel you, bro. Like I fucking been through that shit too. That's what I like kind of strive for nowadays, is finding that relatability. I like to say, like, especially like with work, I want to be able to like shoot with people, photograph people, you know, in Salesforce, Dreamforce, whatever, you know, like the techie world. But then I also want to be able to go to Vallejo and take some dope portraits of, you know, being able to like, not just be like, I only could shoot one person. I want to be able to like photograph every kind of walk of life, and we find that relatability rather than being like, I only shoot with Nike, like only athletes. I want to be like, yo, I can photograph anyone.
Right.
Yeah,
that's also a people skill. And that's actually, I think, most of the work that we do, that's what it really is. So something that I've been discussing a lot with people is, or other artists, right, is that this whole photo video thing is just a vehicle to do the actual service, right? And the service is being able to provide value and bringing people together or making people feel good about something. Like, that's how I translate that into corporate work as well. It's like, hey, I'm here for you. Whoever my sales director or like point of contact is, I'm here for you. I'm here to help you feel better about whoever you're talking to. I'm here to help you make them happy. So I want to make you happy by doing dope work. It's just a vehicle. At the end of the day, what we're doing is we're providing service. We're making people happy. We're helping them take weight off their shoulder. And that's what the work really is.
Yeah.
And everything else is just a byproduct.
Yeah. And then the bonus too is like, after doing that service, allowing your client to relive with the, you know, the final product. What we do is, you know, we document events, days, you know, or whatever the case may be. So it's cool that that service can literally be viewed again because of what we do.
For sure. And that goes back to the whole capturing the moment thing. And you can't relive that moment. You're literally documenting time. And that's the most important thing, because people might overlook these things, right? But this is a record. Like, time is never going to happen again. Like, every millisecond doesn't go back. It only goes forward. And if you're there to capture it, you're creating time capsules for people to revisit those moments. Like, you're not going to watch this 10 years from now and just be like, I'm the same exact person.
Yeah, I hope not. I really hope not.
Like, damn, I fucked up.
Yeah.
And that's real stuff. And I think that's the artistic side of stuff, right? Because art, where does art really come from, right? It really just comes from like the strive of trying to understand the unknown complexity of what it means to be human and explore that, the limits, what the boundaries are, what the limitations are, and hopefully there's not a limitation. That's what art really is, right? It's exploring the abstract freedom, you know, and then understanding the foundation, and then as you grow as an artist, you're finding your purpose through it. And like, going back to all the stuff we talked about, like the purpose of your art or your life or whatever doesn't have to be this crazy deep woohoo thing. It could just be like, I'm just trying to like be healthy, feed my family, and like, or whatever. I'm just trying to stay positive so I can, you know, pass that on. Like it could be something simple like that. But you know, people spend a lot of their life looking for this like super deep meaning, just to realize that like you're gonna end up refining it, and it's gonna be super deep only because you spent the time to refine it into like a sentence.
Yeah.
You know, and you ask your grandpa, like, what's the meaning of life for you? You know, it's going to be different. Like, for example, my grandpa, when he lost my grandma, his life was done. He was like, I want to go. I'm ready to go. And you would think like, what about your kids? And what about me? What the fuck? I'm your grandkid. What about me? And he's just like, no, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Like, my kids are fine. That's why they have you. And you're going to be fine because someday you're going to have kids. And I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, that's all. And he's like, my wife is gone. My life is gone. And like, and that never really hit me what that meant until now, because now I'm looking at my parents thinking, oh, they're going to get older. I'm going to have to witness their passing one by one. What's my life going to be like? But that's just life, because I watched them lose their parents, you know, and at some point, you know, like they're gonna feel like their purpose has come to an end. I think like you only live, the force of life is correlated with your will to continue, like your will, you know. That's why some people are able to like beat death or whatnot, right? You have a will or a purpose to continue, but once you're there, what's really it? Your children's good, your grandchildren's good, you know, your partner is either gone or still there, whatever that might be. Like, it's a different game. So I think about that stuff a lot these days, where it's like, yeah, we might be tripping about this whole purpose thing now, but we're in our 30s. We're not even in our mid 30s. Our purpose is literally going to change. Like for me, I feel like I'm going to end up having a child within the next 2 to 3 years. I'm 34, you know, I don't want to have a kid too late. 37 might be the latest, right?
Right.
36 is pretty ideal, especially for my partner. She's a woman. She needs time, you know, it's a lot more on a woman, obviously.
Right.
But then I also need time to, they say you can never really prepare to be a father. Like nothing can prepare you. And I totally believe that. But the one thing I could be more responsible on is making sure I'm in a good enough place as a person. I'm set as a person and as a business person, and then financially set, in a good mind state. I've done enough healing of my own traumas. I've done enough healing of, you know, my own disbeliefs and doubts and things like that to be like, nah, none of that stuff really matters. Life is going to go on and things are going to change. And your purpose is going to constantly change as you grow, right? And you're going to get refined. So a lot of this stuff coming back to being a creative, I know it's like such a crazy thing to think of, but like free spirits don't think too much about that stuff. And some of that stuff really just doesn't matter to other people.
That actually, dude, that literally like that resonated at like as you were speaking, because I always like, you know, you have those moments as a creative, like especially in the beginning stages of you're starting and you're feeling yourself, you're like, I'm so good, and then you're like, why didn't anyone supporting me? Why? Like the blame is always on other people. Yeah. You're always like you start a clothing line, right? For instance, no one's buying your stuff. You're always like, you can always be like, man, y'all, you know, people have on Instagram, y'all don't support me. Yeah, like, y'all don't. It's like, it's not. People just don't need sweaters right now. You know, it's like people people don't need photos right now because it's not the season. We can always make it about us. Yeah, like we are our own main character. But it, like you're saying, it's bigger than.
Going back to what you said, where it's like when you first start and you wonder why people don't support you. You know, the funny thing is that has never crossed my mind. Well, I think never is a lie. I think it's crossed my mind because other people do it, and then it made me think, is that happening to me? Yeah. And I think the reason that it's never crossed my mind on that level is because I knew exactly why I was doing it. I knew I was doing it for me. And me, what does me involve is like other people. My life, I take pictures of people. Mm-hmm. My life wouldn't be my life without other people, because you wouldn't have all the experiences and the conversations and the good times and the life lessons with other people. You know, that's why I photograph dancers because they're incredible, right? It's never like, why don't these people support me? Because if you don't support me, that's fine. I wouldn't know it anyways. You know what I mean? Because you didn't, right? But if you did, I remember that because like that's the energy that we need as creatives to be like, oh, you rock with me. You like what I do. I appreciate you so much. I'm so thankful. You know, like these people on my wall here, they're all people that I've known for a long time and they all support me. Like you said, like your friends that were dancers, they just show up when you call them, right? Because they just want to support you. They want to work with you.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing about what you said is the people that like blame the things outside of them is that I feel like they might not fully know why they're doing what they're doing. They're doing it as a way to dodge the questions of what makes them who they are, and their identity is tied to the thing they're doing versus like why they're doing what they're doing comes from a transparent place inside. It's like kind of going back to what you said. It's the thing that we're doing is a byproduct of who we are versus some people try to have the thing that they're doing be the byproduct of who they are. Does that make sense? It's like they're doing this thing to be like, that's my identity versus being like, I do this thing out of just who I am. So a good example is when you said, if you're doing a clothing brand or you're doing whatever you're doing, you're like, why don't people support me? It's like holding the door open for somebody out of your own will and expecting them to say thank you, and they walk in, they don't say anything, and you go, fuck you then.
Dude.
You know what I mean? It's just like, but it doesn't make sense. Like you chose to hold the door open for them because, and when people do that to me, like I think like there's always that little voice where it's just like, oh, okay, well, fuck me then. You know? But like I held the door open for them because my parents taught me well.
Yeah.
And I want to hold the door open for you because I know that that's the kind of person I am. I'm courteous. I'm a man of service, right?
Yeah.
So why am I going to give you the finger for not saying thank you to me? Then that just makes me a dick because then I'm doing it for an ulterior motive. I'm doing it to be glazed. You know, and if you're doing shit to be glazed, you're always going to feel some type of shit on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Because it's not from you. Because you give a shit about all the other things that come with the action that you're doing rather than just like doing it and just being like, this is cool. And it's different to have an expectation or disappointment, but you never ever put that on the people. You know what I mean? Unless not all cases are like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like at least for most cases that we're speaking, you shouldn't never put stuff on the people if it's coming from you. You know what I mean?
100%. I need to be better. I feel like after it's just like a fucking therapy. You're like, yeah, I got some things I need to work on.
That's real, bro. That's why these talks are important. It's why these podcasts could be helpful to somebody out there. You know, and I don't know, and I wanted to start a podcast because I always have great conversations with you and the people that I, you know, obviously want to have.
Right.
And I find people to be very interesting. Everybody has a story. Everybody that's good at something has a story.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
That's valid. Now, speaking of stories, I have a question about these photos.
Okay, give it to me. These photos, he's talking about the photos on my wall here in my studio.
Okay, so the top left, you told me that's when you got robbed.
I did get robbed. That's a photo of Lily Frias from Femme Fatale. She's an incredible dancer from Los Angeles, came from Mexico. She was here for Red Bull Dance Your Style Oakland auditions. I'm sorry, Oakland audition. Not the audition, but she was here for the Oakland show in 2024. Yeah.
Okay. So besides this one, because you told me the story.
Yes.
Out of the remaining ones, which one kind of stands out the most as far as the story to it?
Story, interesting. Okay, great. That's a great question. So we're gonna have to do some flashes on the screen here of photos that he's talking about. All these have a story behind them. The one that I like the most out of these in terms of like visually is probably the one of Cece in Venice, because there's something so free flowing. You can sense free flowing, and you can also sense like the location of what's happening. So that was taken in Venice, and we were just walking around in Venice, and I was like, okay, let's take some action shots here. I want you just to move, right? And just what she was wearing, the white on white, and the way the sun was hitting her, and just the location of like Venice is gorgeous. Doesn't matter where you go, everything in Venice looks beautiful. And there's no real like emotional story to anything, but what I like is the rawness of the photo.
Right.
You know, it's just like in that moment, like we can catch things that beautiful. We can catch things being that free, capture that moment. And I think the next favorite one I would have would be probably the one in the middle there, the one that's horizontal. Her name is Hayes. She's from New York. She's from Korea, and then she lives in New York now. She's a full-time model and dancer. And actually, I saw her during lockdown on Instagram of her dancing, and I thought that she was very unique. She had a very unique look. She had a very unique style. So I started following her, and I've been like a fan of her work since, right? She came here for SF Hip Hop Fest with a performance group of a really good friend of mine. His wife started a performance group in New York, all-female group, a phenomenal group. And she became a part of that group. And they came here as guests to perform. And I saw on her story that she was here. I was like, oh my God, like, can we shoot, please? And she was super kind, super nice. You know, she didn't know who I was, but we met up.
That's badass.
At the Palace of Fine Arts. And I just asked her to like do her thing and just to move and flow. And then we caught that beautiful, very emotional moment of her like doing a wave.
That's so sick.
In the middle of and the lighting hit perfectly. It hit a perfect Rembrandt as the sun was shining through the Palace of Fine Arts. It created a perfect depth of contrast and shadows, and you can just tell by her face how the way it shapes her jawline, the way that it's creating a slight Rembrandt on the other side, the shadows in the back, how it's separating her, and just the emotion that she has in the middle of her movement. It's just like, there's so much to tell about a photo. I don't mean to get all like photo nerd about it.
That's what it's about. That's why we're here.
Yeah, and that's real. You know, like I see a lot of people going out there just shooting photos, you know, which is what you should do. Go out there and shoot, but really ask yourself why you like it. Ask yourself who you are, and ask yourself what is it that you like. And you know, we can like everything and anything, but I'll tell you this, you tell me to go shoot a building, like I'm going to fail. I'm not an architect, like architectural photographer. I'm not a wildlife photographer. I'm not even like a street photographer. Street photographers have a different vibe to them. Even if it's a street photographer for portraits, I don't do that, you know, or I'm a very like movement lifestyle based portrait photographer outdoors. In studio, I'm a very lighting portrait based photographer. So outside and inside, I'm two different people. So I don't
That's
do
tight, though.
Yeah, but those are my two lanes. Like people say, oh, figure out your niche. And it's just like, the niche is photo. Like, what the hell do you want me to figure out, right? For the longest time, I thought like that. But the more time I spent with myself, the more time I spent figuring out what it is I like doing, why I like shooting these things. It's like, oh, that's what you are.
Yeah.
And like, you're taking the time to learn composition, learn depth, learn lighting, learn like everything about a photo comes from you and your knowledge. And a lot of people think it's just going out there and just like looking for the right angle or looking for the right lighting and stuff, but that stuff is subconscious. Like, imagine if you actually spent the time to educate yourself on what's happening subconsciously and understanding the foundation of what's going on and putting a name to it. You're adding knowledge to your arsenal and your pool of understanding. So rather than it being subconscious now, you can walk out there and be like, that's a specific lighting, that's a specific angle, that if you place this here, this color, this depth, this setting on your camera, this lens, what is causing distortion, blah, 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 then you become actually better at what you do rather than going out there and winging it. Although a huge percentage of it is also going out there and winging it. And that's why it's so important to have that knowledge and education on who you are as someone behind the camera and what you're capturing in front of you.
I feel like lately for me, I've been working kind of backwards now, because like when, you know, shooting weddings and doing corporate jobs, I've been so in tune to like the clean, like a certain look, especially with my camera. So when I bought my Fuji, the X Pro 3, now it's like I'm going back to like my roots, which I love, where, you know, I know I can take good photos with my Canon R, like in the studio, nice lights, but the Fuji just brings me back to like run and gun, like going out and doing the street photography, going up to, and like how you're saying now, it's like I know what good light is, I know what composition is, I know when I see it, and I know I can execute it. But then it's the story now that I'm like focused on,
100%,
which I know will benefit my work aspect. Because I know with when I go out and shoot with the Fuji, my lighting and composition came from doing my professional stuff. Like I just know, but now going back to my roots of like focus on story, like I can see a photo or a moment through the viewfinder, and I know lighting isn't good. I know that composition is not good, but I know that the moment is significant. And I'll snap it, and I'll like, for me, it's like a little treasure to have. Like, damn, this is sick. I don't really know where I was fucking going with that, but
no, that's real. I think that is a part of life where you're going back to revisit your foundation. Right? Like, even though I talk about all these things like educating yourself, blah, 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 I wouldn't be here if I didn't just go out and shoot in the beginning.
Right.
And the reason that like we have this knowledge or pursuit of knowledge is because we just wanted to get better, right? Not for any like vain reason, but just for the sake of just being like, I like this photo I took before, but I also want to do something different.
Right.
It's just kind of like singing or dancing.
It also kind of reminds me how you brought up like talking about going for your walk, like going back to, your high school route of like, I just need to like do this. That's how it is for me. It's like I need to go out and I need to shoot like how I used to, like when I first start. Because when you first start, anyone ask advice for me, it's either camera, like what camera do I use? Which all of us I know fucking know, like or you say, I feel like most people say who are in the game, like just go out and shoot. Because that's literally all you need to do to get better, is because then you just start realizing like, oh, this needs to be better. So whether that's architect or whether that's landscape, whether that's people, just go out, bring your camera and shoot. And then gradually you will, in my head, you will get better if you put the time in, obviously.
Right.
But it is like going back to your roots to really, is like, I guess it's like the same concept of checking in on yourself. Like, let me see how I'm doing. For me with work, it's okay. Work is a lot. It's stressful. I may be backlogged. Let me go outside, bring my camera, shoot around, get inspired, and then maybe I'll feel that spark again. Or maybe you fucking don't, and then you're like, damn, I have so much to edit. But no, like,
for sure, that's 100%.
But it's like you're going back to a foundation where, for me, it also is like a reminder of like, damn, I get to do this.
100%.
Like,
love that.
And that's what me and Chris always go back to. Like we something happened. I forgot whether it was work related or we were just like, I think that's what we're good at. We're always good at checking ourselves. Like, bro, we get to do what we love for a living with the struggles of it, but also with the successes of it, and being thankful for both. Like, because with the struggles is like, you get the success through the struggles.
100%.
And that's one thing that we've learned now too, is like, when shit doesn't go our way, we're just like, yeah, we'll complain, but then we know deep down, like, we need this. We need this to happen for a reason.
Right.
And that's just to navigate us back to a new foundation. Same foundation, I guess, but like just putting more cement down onto it.
You're refining.
Yeah, refining it.
No, that's super real, because people think that it's like, funny story. Let's just say when I first started this, there's a guy that was like, yeah, bro, you can make $3,000 a day, or you can make like $30K per project, right? I'm like, you can, but like the person you need to become to get there, the work you have to put in, the things you have to understand, the experiences you have to have, like, you can do it, and it's real, and like we do it all the time now, right? Where it's like, oh, cool, just $5,000 a day, whatever. But it's like, that's not necessarily true. It's not a $5,000 a day. It's a $5,000 project, because it's not like you just walk in there and someone throws $5,000 at your face. Like, no, you need to understand so many different types of foundation. Like the camera part is just the thing you do, but you getting to that person and like being able to communicate why your work is worth that much for less than 24 hours of work is very important. That takes development. That takes a lot of development. And like that development is an uphill battle. And when you get there, you realize, dang, I probably should have charged more.
Yeah.
Right. And that comes with experience. And for all this to be said, it's still like, you'll still feel like it's never enough, you know, because this isn't something we do for fun, and it's not a gig. It's our livelihood, and it's what we chose. We chose this lifestyle as entrepreneurs, artistic entrepreneurs that became businesses in order to fulfill our life, to become something out of it, you know? And it's never gonna be, kind of goes back to life. Like everything we do is very similar to life. It goes back to, it's always gonna change. It's always gonna grow and change. And if you keep going down this road, you're gonna keep developing, and something new is gonna come. And when it comes, you're gonna have to figure out how to adapt to it. And a lot of things that you will learn in this realm of being an entrepreneur and a creative is you have to learn how to adapt to stuff. Adaptation is pretty...
That's something I need to learn. I feel like end product wise, like the final outcome, I know how to adapt, like stylistically, like the trends of like how a video looks or how a photo looks. I think for me, gear, I've never been a gearhead. So that's the one thing that I like. I'm old school when it comes to gear. I'm always like, you give me a fucking camera, I'll be able to like make something happen.
Right.
But like when I saw like I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like, what is this? Like, I'm just like so out of date. But I know I need to be at least aware of it and be able to like possibly know how to use it. Because,
to some degree.
Yeah.
The gearhead game is dangerous, right? This is like, if you are new to being a creative out there, like just get what you need.
Yeah.
Just get what you need. It's like really, and I mean like get just what you need.
Yeah, and that's what I've always like. I've always been like, I'll make it work with whatever I have. Even phone, bro. I can take good photos on my phone. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like literally.
So interesting story about what we're talking about. You know, going back to that photo we're just talking about of Lily Frias when I got robbed. Literally, when we took that photo.
Shout out to the robbers.
Shout out to the robber. I hope you sold all that gear and got some good bag off. Shit, that was not cheap. Yeah, they stole probably like $4,000 worth of stuff. Or more than $4,000 worth of stuff. Like, just, it's Oakland, you know, it happens, right? Unfortunately, and that's why you get good insurance, or you know, have a better look out of your gear, be more safe, you know, like it can get crazy out here. That's real. Oakland is, it can be tough, but it's also one of the most beautiful places in the world, oddly enough to say, because my studio is in Oakland.
There it is.
It does have its drawbacks. Anyways, going back to that, when I got robbed, luckily, thank you God, I was holding my camera body. So my camera was my moneymaker, obviously, and that didn't get stolen. My lenses got stolen, right? But the lens I was shooting with for Lily was a 20mm prime.
Oh, shit.
So I had nothing in my arsenal except the 20mm prime. And instead of like, you know, complaining about it on social media, nobody knew what happened, right? I mean, I guess you do now.
Yeah, I didn't even know.
Yeah, I don't really talk about like my struggles like that because it's not on people, you know? Like I don't do GoFundMes. I don't ask people for donation. I don't tell people about shit. I just kind of like take it as a lesson of saying, you know, this happened because this is your life and it's within like your blessing, let's say, that it happened to you. So you can learn out of it rather than just going out there solving the problem by being like, oh my God, I got my stuff stolen because I'm watching it or whatever, right? It's like, no, like this is my life. Like God gave me this opportunity to learn from. So what I did with it was I took the 20mm and I shot everything with it, bro. I shot like so much stuff. And my mentality was, if this is all I got, this is all I need. I'm going to master this lens and I'm going to shoot whatever comes in my way with just this lens.
That's
I'm gonna figure out how to do it. So with that mentality, I shot with it for almost a year, built enough, you know, funding to get my gear back, which was, you know, going back to the standard 24-70, 85, right? You know, all that stuff. And yeah, now we're here, you know,
in a studio
that, you know, I worked very hard for. I would like to believe I worked very hard for it. Like, my parents didn't believe in what I did. They didn't fund me for it. The first blessing I got from my mom was after I told her I was 3 months into starting an LLC, which wasn't until like 2023. I started this camera stuff 2010. So she was just like, when are you going to get a job? I was like, what you mean, when am I going to get a job? I have a job, kind of. Well, which is different because I was working full-time as a teacher and then I was doing this. But she never believed and she never funded it. She never thought it was going to be a thing, And I really told her one day, the funniest shit, bro. I told my dad when I was like 25, I sat him down. I was so serious. I looked at him in the eye and I was like, I'm going to be a dancer. And he was like, okay.
Oh, man. That's a tough one.
That's a tough one. I mean, it didn't work out for me, obviously, right? It's working out for other people, just not for me. But then I really, 2017 is when I started like doing this professionally, but when I met you.
Yeah.
And my mom was like, my parents never really like believed in it, And it wasn't until like 2023 when I told my mom, I was like, hey, I paid off my credit debt. It was a lot. It was like, at that time, it was like 20-ish K, right? Which is not a lot, realistically speaking. It is a lot, but it's not a lot at the time, right? And especially with the rates I was getting, bro, I was doing like $100 shoots.
Oh, lordy.
$100 shoots, $150 shoots, $200.
Doing what you can, though.
Bro, that's true. When someone offered me $250 for a portrait shoot, I was like, damn, I'm about to make this bag.
Jeez, dude.
Yeah, but I was doing that. I raised up 20K to pay off my debt, started my LLC. My mom was like, oh, okay, I think he's serious. She gave me my first blessing on Chinese New Year 2023. That was last year.
Wow.
I was doing this for 11 years. I got my first blessing over 10 years in. That was only last year. She gave me one of those red envelopes, and like, I don't really get red envelopes like that for my family. If I do, it's like $50, $100 or whatever, because, and she gave me a $50 red envelope, and she tapped it on my head. She says, good luck with your business. And a tear came out of my eye. I was like, I never got that kind of, I never heard you say that ever,
See, stuff like that, it's like, I feel like how I was raised, I take, you can easily take stuff like that for granted. Because I've heard that, like, my dad always being supportive. And then you hear something like your story and you're like, holy shit. Just to hear that means so much to you, which is beautiful. Like, it makes you, like, want to move differently. Like, the littlest thing you should always be thankful for, grateful for.
Right. But that's kind of what put me in that predicament that we talked about earlier, where it builds the never-ending pressure of like, am I good enough?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I worked so hard to have this studio, right? Like, a part of it was like, yeah, it was my dream to have the studio, but another part of me was like, I wanted to prove my parents wrong, that like, I can do this, And now being here, it's like, that doesn't matter. None of that matters. One thing that did matter is I followed my dreams. I made it happen. So that goes to show that like, you are capable. I'm a high school dropout that never had like a career that made things happen for himself. And it's possible. I'm not saying I'm like a millionaire, I'm super successful, but like, I made something happen from not knowing how I could ever make it happen. And the goal is, for me, is saying like, if I could do it, you could do it. Because I was lazy. I don't have education. I never knew how to manage my money. I was like a dumb kid that just did whatever he wanted. But like, that can change if you want to change. If life changes, if your circumstance changes, if you want something better, you see life differently. You will make the effort to make a change. You'll take that opportunity to become something more, and what you would have to be, or who you would have to become in order to achieve the things that you say you want to. Because then you just end up talking about it. And that, I think for a long time, that was my problem. I always talked about my dream, but I never woke up and made it reality. I just stayed a dream. And then I just end up, to my family sounding like this big talker. And I lived under that image and pressure for such a long time. And then one day I just said, I had enough of this. Like, I'm going to make shit happen. And a lot of it comes from like growth and the struggle in your life, and, now we're here. And that goes back to the whole, like, that's why you have to take care of yourself. That's why you need to know what you want for yourself, because you don't really know how much of you is subconsciously operating from trauma or expectations. And then you create like a loop of pressure that you don't realize. Take the time to undo that trauma, undo those loops of pressure, and figure out who you are and what you want. And once you figure that out, you're going to soon realize that that's going to keep growing and changing. And yeah, I feel like there's a lot more to come with that. That's just like, this is where I just discovered this, you know. I'm still figuring it out, exploring that.
That's the beauty. We're always gonna keep figuring it out or trying to figure it out, you know.
Yeah, life can get crazy, man.
Yeah.
But you know, with that being said, what is in the store for you next, bro? What's going on with you?
We're gonna just figure it out.
Anything that you want to achieve or accomplish, or whatever you foresee in 2025 for yourself?
Honestly, I actually wrote it down on my phone. It goes back to photographing things like, so this is all passion projects. I feel like business is always gonna come, like, so I think if I take time to focus on, you know, personal stuff that I want to document, like for a minute, like I'm just feeding myself, which I've been wanting to do creatively. It's gonna sound weird, but I think I've written down like 3 things that I want to photograph. I guess from a business standpoint, I just hope business is going well. Like it's looking at the rate that we're going right now, it looks pretty good.
Great.
But for the personal stuff, I've been like wanting to photograph, like go to a rodeo and photograph a rodeo. Wow. Want to photograph a traveling circus. Wow. And then like I want to photograph a farmer. Dang. So if any of y'all know, let me know. But I just want I want to photo like life, you know. I want to just new experiences, and I've just always seen things differently. So to photograph those things in a way, in my perspective, I would love. And I just want to like this. I don't know. This is intriguing to me.
Yeah. Rodeo, traveling circus, farmer. That's crazy. Like you would not think that that's something normal, but because it's so unique, there's so much livelihood and moment in those things. Like for example, rodeo, you're riding a bull. Yeah, it's insane. And you're like dressed up as a cowboy. You got there's so many beautiful moments in that.
Yeah, I seen a street photographer named Pauly B. Mm-hmm. Pauly B. Yeah, Pauly D is fucking Jersey Shore. Yeah. But he photographed a rodeo, and it was just like really captivating. Like really got some like beautiful photos. So I don't know. I just want to bring things to light, you know. So yeah, and then business is business. Whatever comes out of it, comes out of it.
I love that for you.
Keep hustling, hustle. I'm just trying to chill right now and enjoy photography.
Yeah, I love that for you. Like this whole conversation, I think has been, the theme around it has been fulfillment, mm-hmm. has been purpose, has been revisiting your roots and like self-discovery, having better understanding of yourself. And I think that that's amazing, and a lot of people may tend to look past that in the very fast society that we live in now, especially with the phones and how fast things are changing. Yeah, you know, with tech and lifestyle. There's a wave of this kind of coming back in, the wave of self-development coming back in, but also like another wave of it being forgotten, mm-hmm. because you're chasing.
The chase is always going to be there too. Right. So,
okay. Well, we have officially reached the end of this very long and fulfilling podcast. Actually, the first episode it's like almost 2 hours long, bro.
Has it been 2 hours?
Almost 2 hours long, yeah. But with all that being said, I really wanted to thank you for this moment. Thank you for being here.
No, thank you.
Sharing all this with me. Thank you for being an amazing friend as always. As you know,
always
amazing friendships are hard to come by as you get older.
Two-way street, and I'm proud of you, bro. You're doing it. And this is just the beginning. You're gonna get something more fancy. I'm already know.
That's the goal.
But this is fancy, but you'll get something more
some light. But it couldn't have been made possible without people like you in my corner. That's 100%. And for those that don't know, before I started my LLC, I went to consult Chris. Before I opened my studio, I went to consult.
He acting like I told him, I didn't tell. I just said, hey, you're going to be okay. Everything's going to work out.
Sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes that's all you need, you know? And I also gave Chris the word that he would be the pilot premiere episode of the podcast. So he's here now. This is the first episode of the podcast, and I'm a man of my word. Wow. I said I would open my studio. I said he'd be the first person on the podcast.
You said that, Zaddy. You said that, Zaddy.
Before we close off, Christopher Ian Perry, what is one thing that you would like to say to the world? Leave a message for the world.
I really want to think. My other friend does this, so I really want to think of something. Life's beautiful. That's it.
That was beautiful.
Life's beautiful. That's it. Yeah.
That's true. Live your life, everybody. No, really, like, life is beautiful, and a lot of us take it for granted. And some people might not get to live another day, to see another day. So make sure you're grateful for the day, and you feel blessed to be here no matter what's going on. And I know it's hard, but that's some real stuff. Thank you for that, Chris. I'm so happy that you were here. I love you. I appreciate you. All right, everybody. That's a wrap. Peace out.